Hello students, welcome to STEM Works. I am your host Bhuvan Verma. This is a special series recorded by WRO, India National Organizer, India STEM Foundation. Our efforts are supported by National Council of Science Museums, NCSM, to showcase how STEM works for schools. I know you are eagerly looking forward to World Robot Olympiad, and I am sure that you will attempt the National Entrance Test. Details of the upcoming National Entrance Test are in the description below. Today, we have an excellent guide, mentor, and a STEM champion with us, Principal Mrs. Anupama Mehra of Navy Children's School, Goa. As an academician, her desire is to provide a nurturing and experiential environment for all her pupils. Welcome, Principal Mehra, to STEM Works for Schools. How are you?
Thank you so much, Mr. Bhuvan Verma. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you at this forum today morning and being able to reach out to so many children and parents who are avid followers of all the great work that you all are doing in promoting STEM education and awareness, which is definitely the need of the hour.
Hoorah, hoorah. All right. So diving straight into my students' questions. Principal Mehra, can you tell our students and parents why parents prefer schools with integrated STEM and STEAM education?
Let me take this question with the basic first. Let me break it down to STEM oblique STEAM. When we say science, we say technology, we say engineering, and we say maths. Though maths is a little feared by many children, but the ones who love it just go over the top, learning about it. So basically, let me break it down into four right now. The moment we say science, we say bio, we say physics, we say environment, we say geoscience. This is one domain, right? Again, when I say technology, look at the manner in which technology is expanding today, right? Of course, you have children learn computer sciences, they learn informatics practices, right? They are already into core computer education. Similarly, when we go into mathematics, again, look at the careers. The parents also feel from a data analyst to an environmentalist. The plethora of careers and now art is tremendous. And that is the reason why I feel parents want an integrated interdisciplinary approach. And STEM is the way forward.
Absolutely. Students, I hope you are taking notes from graphic designing to analysis. It's integrated learning, part of this and part of that. You have to do it all. And thanks to Principal Mehra and peers, we are able to achieve that through STEM education. All right, Principal Mehra, to my students' next question. They are very curious to know, which book are you reading these days?
That's such a favorite question of mine because I'm a voracious reader. In spite of a hectic schedule, I take out time to read a little. This book was gifted to me by a very dear friend for one of the talk shows that I had attended. This book is called The School of Life. And this book is by Alan D. Button. It is one of my favorites. And I, in fact, carry it and keep it on my table all the time, because this book has various meanings. More number of times I read it, I discover a little more. I would love to read out a little extract from the introduction, which is very relevant in today's times. Hear me out. What is distinctive is just how selective we are about the topics that we wish to study. We are very careful with material, scientific, technical subjects, which is our subject also. But what about our psychological and emotional needs? Who's looking after that? Who's taking care of that? So we devote inordinate hours to learning about tectonic plates. We learn about cloud formations and cloud computing. And relatively, very few are talking about how really we are. So this is one book which is very, very close to my heart. And like I said, I keep it on my table. And it is, I feel every parent, every student, and every educator must read this book. So I keep reading it and revisiting it again and again. Yes.
Absolutely. It's a bonanza for our students. Another book to your reading list, students, School of Life by Ellen D. Button. You can rewind this portion and write down the name of the book also. Thank you, Principal Mehra. All right, to my next question. My students are very curious to know how important is hands-on training for students?
I must tell you, students, that your teachers follow various kinds of teaching methodologies in the classroom. Some like to give you lectures, some like to have discussions, some may want to show you a film, and some may want to take you on an edu trip. So much fun that is, right? The edu trip part is experiential learning, and that is what is hands-on experiences. And in my view, that is the best pedagogical practice that any educator or a school can adapt. For example, there are certain domains which are best taught through hands-on. Geometry, statistics, mensuration, separation of substance in sciences, environment, geography. They are best taught outside the classroom. And what you learn from this experience outside the classroom is the best way to learn. So I feel, in fact, very recently our school did Ganit Week. Our children explored how much tea are we consuming, the entire staff, and how much food is the canteen using, right? And we could depict it from bar graphs to pie charts to pictorial graphs. The children learned so much. Imagine 3 concepts in a row. That is why I feel this is the best method, and hands-on is the way to go. Nature is the best way to teach you so much, from the environment to the climate. So I feel this is the best pedagogical practice and must be followed deeply at every school.
Thank you so much for detailing this response, ma'am. And my students are really going to learn a lot, especially the ones who want to step out and play. So if you step out, like Principal Mehra said, you can also learn other concepts in education besides sports. All right, to our next question, Principal. My students, they learn a lot through STEM education and integrated learning. And they're also curious to know, how does STEM education help students learn more about entrepreneurship?
I will revisit the first question when you spoke about STEM learning and why do parents want STEM learning. When we break down each type, the science, the technology, the art, math, there are certain skills that students end up learning through this: observation, experimentation, innovation, creativity, Internet of Things, inventing, right? Problem solving, innovation, I mentioned. Aren't these skills required for entrepreneurship as well? To go out there and to experiment, to have the courage and the conviction of doing something of your own, isn't that the biggest skill for an entrepreneur? So that's where the connect between STEM and entrepreneurship. So imagine a child has an idea, thinks of a solution, and then thinks of ways of achieving a solution. He builds a team, puts together the people who excel at different areas, and there you have an entrepreneurial venture. So that's how I feel STEM and entrepreneurship are deeply connected, because the skills from the STEM education can be beautifully applied to entrepreneurship as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Principal Mehra. My students, rather our students, are some of the bravest amongst all of us. They learn and they overcome inhibition, and entrepreneurship is a quality that draws on this bravery of our students. To our next question, can you tell our students, how does STEM education help them become leaders, excel at leadership?
This is a very lovely question, because the entire definition of leadership has undergone a complete change over a period of years. Gone are those days when leaders are supposed to be dictators, sitting on a beautiful, comfortable chair and calling the shots. Those times are gone. Today, a leader has to be an empowering leader, a person who holds his team's hand, whether good, bad, or ugly. You are right behind your team saying, I'm with you, I have got your back, right? Similarly, A leader who's a problem solver, a solution seeker, is a far better leader than a dictatorial leader. So these, again, the problem solving, creative, brainstorming, team building, this is again entrepreneur skills which have come from STEM education. They are beautifully connected. A team looks forward and towards his leader, her leader, to bail them out if you're stuck, right? So I feel a leader and entrepreneurship and STEM education are very beautifully linked. These skills are brought out in the entire process of study as well as tinkering, as we say, no, thanks to Atal Tinkering Labs. So when students sit together as a team and they think and they problem solve, they are building and fostering interpersonal skills. They are building and fostering creativity, discussions, and brainstorming. And this is what today's leader is supposed to be like. You know, you cannot think back and say, I am always right. My team can also be right, right? So this is something I also strongly follow and believe.
Thank you so much, Principal Mehra, for empowering my students and showing them the way of how they can learn while doing creative things by engaging across subjects, across domains. We are certain our students will find their moment of meaning in this STEM Works session. This session of STEM Works was curated by India STEM Foundation, the national organizer of World Robot Olympiad in India. World Robot Olympiad, students are encouraged to enter the educational robotics competition by appearing in the national entrance test, links of which are in the description below. Schools are invited to enter teams of 3 students to participate in this competition. The competition progresses through various stages till the time we meet again for another exciting episode of STEM Works for Schools. Keep tinkering and share this video with your parents and peers. Namaskar.